My husband died at 8:30 on a Sunday night. 18 hours later, I was alone in a hospital delivery room, 6 weeks early, calling my mother, and she told me Punta Cana couldn't wait. That's not even the worst part. The worst part is that I had spent 18 months sleeping on her couch, changing her bandages, cutting my work hours, and driving her to physical therapy 3 times a week. I gave that woman everything I had. And the one night, the single worst night of my entire life, she picked a vacation. But here's what I need you to hear. For years later, they came back. And what happened next is the reason I'm telling this story. Colin and I were happy. Not the kind of happy people post about. The real kind. Quiet. Solid. The kind where you're sitting in a too small kitchen eating reheated leftovers and you think, yeah, this is enough. This is everything. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Indianapolis, Indiana. The kitchen was so narrow we couldn't stand side by side. The window looked out over a parking lot. Nothing impressive. But it was ours, and we loved it. Colin was a firefighter at Station 7. 24-hour shifts, left Sunday evening, came back Monday morning smelling like smoke and coffee. I was a physical therapist at a private clinic called Milestone Physical Therapy. We were 34 weeks into our first pregnancy. We'd painted the second bedroom pale gray. Colin found a secondhand crib on Facebook Marketplace for $75 and spent an entire Saturday sanding it down and repainting it himself. One night he was rubbing my belly and said, "This kid's going to have the best mom. I just hope I can keep up." That was Colin. Always making me the center. He was the first person who ever made me feel like my need to take care of people wasn't a weakness. He called it a gift. But he also saw something I couldn't. He saw the way my family used that gift against me. My parents lived in Brownsburg, about 20 minutes west. My dad was a retired plant supervisor. My mom was a homemaker who somehow always acted like the busiest person in any room. And then there was Brad, my older brother, 5 years ahead of me. Sales manager at a car dealership. Leased Audi. Wife, 2 kids, good money. On paper, he had it all. But Brad was never around. He missed holidays. Skipped family dinners. When my grandmother was dying, he showed up once for 40 minutes. And yet, somehow, he was the favorite. The excuses were always the same. Brad's under a lot of pressure at work. He shows love differently. He doesn't have the same kind of schedule you do. Colin didn't buy it. One night in January 2021, driving home after I'd spent the whole day helping my mother reorganize her garage, Brad hadn't shown. Colin was quiet for a while, then said something I've never forgotten. "They count on you because you always show up, Megan. One day you'll need them to show up too. And we'll see." I didn't respond. Because deep down, I already knew he was right. In September 2018, my mother had hip replacement surgery. Routine, 6 to 8 weeks, then done. But she didn't bounce back. A minor infection slowed the healing, and then she became afraid. Afraid to walk. Afraid to be alone. Afraid of falling. And because Brad was too busy and my dad didn't handle medical stuff well, it fell to me. I had been at Milestone Physical Therapy for exactly 3 months when she called crying, asking me to come stay. "Just a few weeks," she said. "Until I'm steady again." So I moved in. Slept on the living room couch, closest to her bedroom. Woke up at 5:30 every morning to help her into the bathroom. Changed her dressings. Helped her shower. Drove her to PT 3 times a week and sat in the waiting room doing patient charting on my laptop. I cut my hours from 40 a week to 28. That's $1,400 a month gone. I told myself it was temporary. A few weeks became a few months. The physical healing came, but my mother still didn't want to be alone. Called every night. "Can you come over? Can you stay? I don't feel right." I didn't know how to say no. I never had. 18 months. Not 6 weeks. 18 months of couch sleeping in early mornings and bandage changes and driving in midnight calls. Brad visited 3 times. 2 hours each, roughly. Brought flowers once. A spa gift card another time. My mother talked about that gift card for a week. Brad's so thoughtful. I changed her bandages every day. He sent a gift card. But he was the good child. Here's what still gets me. Colin helped too. The man who worked 24-hour shifts running into burning buildings still found time to drive my mother to PT when I couldn't. 9 times. He never complained. Never asked for recognition. My mother loved him. She baked him cookies. Told him once, "You're a good man. Megan's lucky." He said, "I'm the lucky one." That was February 2020. 13 months later, she wouldn't come to his funeral. I have 94 text messages from her from those 18 months. 91 are requests. 3 are thank you. 3. In 18 months. I also missed my OCS exam, the Orthopedic Clinical Specialist certification. The credential that would have put me on track for senior roles, better pay. The exam was April 2019 and I didn't have time to study. I just kept showing up instead. Sunday, March 14th, 2021. Colin left for his shift at 6:15. He kissed my forehead. Bent down and kissed my belly. "I'll be back Monday morning. Rest. Don't clean the whole apartment again." I laughed. No promises. He smiled. Yellow Indianapolis Fire Department t-shirt under his jacket. I'd washed it the day before. He walked out at 6:17. That was the last time I saw him alive. At 8:45 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "Mrs. Brennan. This is Captain Holt from Station 7. There's been an accident. You need to come to Ashkenazi Hospital now." I don't remember hanging up. Don't remember the drive. I just remember walking into the emergency department and seeing Captain Holt near the entrance. His face told me everything before his mouth did. A truck ran a red light at Shadeland Avenue and 75th Street. Colin was driving to a structure fire. The impact was on the driver's side. He was pronounced dead at 8:30 p.m., 45 minutes before I even got the call. They brought me to a small room. White walls. A clock that ticked too loud. Then someone asked if I could identify the body. I said yes. I needed to actually believe it. Colin Brennan. 32 years old. Firefighter. Husband. Almost a father. Gone. I touched his hand. Still cool, not cold yet. I wanted to tell him everything, the baby names I'd been thinking about, that I was sorry for every time I complained about the apartment. But I couldn't say a word. And then something twisted inside me. I thought it was grief. But it wasn't. It was a contraction. I signed the identification papers at 9:58 p.m. They handed me a plastic bag with his belongings, wallet, wedding ring, the yellow t-shirt I'd washed the day before. I held that bag against my chest in the ambulance as another contraction hit. Then another. I arrived at labor and delivery at 1:52 a.m. Water broken in the ambulance. Room 4. Monitors. A nurse asked for my emergency contact. I gave them my parents' number. At 2:07 a.m., between contractions, I called my mother. She answered on the 4th ring. "Megan, it's 2 in the morning." "Mom." My voice cracked. "Colin's gone. He's dead. I'm in labor. I'm at the hospital. I need you." A pause. Airport sounds in the background. "Oh, honey, that's terrible. But we're at the airport with Brad. His promotion trip. Punta Cana. We've had it planned for months. We couldn't cancel now." Another contraction. I gripped the bed rail until my knuckles went white. "Mom, please. Colin is dead. I'm about to have this baby. I need you here. Punta Cana can't wait, honey. But you're strong. You'll be fine. Call us when the baby comes." She hung up. I didn't call back. Didn't call my father. Didn't call Brad. I just lay there under those fluorescent lights and felt something go very quiet inside me. Not broken. Just still. A few minutes later, a nurse walked in. Her name was Beverly. Late 50s. Kind eyes. She checked my 4 and looked at my face, really looked. "Is your family on the way, sweetheart?" "No. It's just me." She didn't ask why. She pulled up a chair, sat down beside me, and took my hand. "Then I'll stay." And she did. For the next 4 hours, a complete stranger held my hand while I brought my son into the world. Not my mother. Not my father. Not my brother. A woman named Beverly. Finn Brennan was born at 6:23 a.m. on March 15, 2021. 5 pounds, 9 ounces. Premature, but breathing. Crying. Alive. 30 seconds on my chest, then they took him to the NICU. His lungs needed support. I lay in that recovery room alone for hours. The plastic bag with Colin's belongings on the chair beside me. His wedding ring still inside. My parents somewhere over the Caribbean. My husband in the morgue. My son in a plastic incubator 3 floors away, fighting to breathe. I had never felt so alone in my life. Finn stayed in the NICU for 11 days. Every morning I drove back and sat beside his isolette, hand pressed against the plastic, watching his chest rise and fall. Beverly came to check on me during her shifts even though she wasn't assigned to the NICU. Brought coffee once. Just sat with me. You don't have to be strong all the time, she said one afternoon. Not here. Not with me. That was the first time I cried since Colin died. My parents stayed in Punta Cana the full 7 days. 0 phone calls. 1 text from my mother on March 18th, 3 days after I gave birth alone. Hope you're doing okay. The resort is absolutely gorgeous. Sun emoji. I read that sitting in the NICU, hand on my son's incubator, wearing the same clothes from the day before. I screenshotted it. Instinct, maybe. Or maybe I already knew I'd need proof one day that I wasn't being dramatic. Colin's funeral was March 22nd. Station 7 came in full dress uniform. 28 firefighters. Engine 7 carried the casket draped in a flag. Chief Fitzgerald said, Colin Brennan wasn't just a firefighter. He was a brother, a husband, and soon a father. He ran toward danger so others could run away. And he never, not once, complained. Nearly 180 people filled that church. Neighbors, coworkers, patients, the woman from the coffee shop near Station 7, his high school football coach. My family was still in Punta Cana when the service started. Their flight home wasn't until that night. I found out later there were 3 other flight options that day. They could have made it. They didn't try. After the service, I looked through the guest book. 89 signatures. Not one Clark. I closed the book and walked away. The first voicemail from my mother came 2 days later. Megan, why aren't you picking up? We tried to be there. Punta Cana was planned for months. Don't be dramatic. Don't be dramatic. My husband was dead. I'd given birth alone. My newborn had spent 11 days in the NICU. And I was being dramatic. A few days later, fine. Be that way. I didn't respond. Not to punish her. I just couldn't find the words to explain what it felt like to be in that delivery room at 2 a.m., your body and your heart both breaking at the same time, calling your mother, and hearing Punta Cana can't wait. And then I realized something. I shouldn't have to find those words. I shouldn't have to make her understand what should have been obvious. So I stopped. No angry message. No blocked numbers. I just stopped responding. Stopped calling. Stopped trying. And I started building something different. Colin had life insurance through the fire department, enough to pay off my loans and put a down payment on a house. In August 2021, I moved into a 3-bedroom on Guilford Avenue in Broad Ripple. Quiet neighborhood. Big oak tree out front. My neighbor Sylvia, 62, widowed, showed up on moving day with brownies and an offer to babysit. You remind me of myself, she said. 30 years ago. Lost my husband young too. She didn't pry. Just showed up. That became the theme. Chief Fitzgerald called monthly. Came to Finn's first birthday. His second. By 3, Finn was calling him Uncle Alan. Beverly became Auntie Bev. Kristen from work became my closest friend, the 2 a.m. phone call, the takeout on bad days, no judgment ever. I went to therapy. Every 2 weeks, Dr. Harlow and I unpacked all of it. One afternoon she said, you were parentified, Megan. You were the caregiver from a young age. And when you needed care, they couldn't give it because they never learned you were allowed to need anything. It took years to fully absorb that. But slowly, I started to believe it. In November 2023, I took the OCS exam. The one I'd missed in 2019 while taking care of my mother. I passed. I sat in my car outside the testing center and cried. Not just from pride, but for all the time lost. All the years I'd poured into people who weren't there when it mattered most. I drove home and hugged Finn. He patted my face with both hands. "It's okay, Mama." It was. One night when he was 3, we were reading a picture book about a boy visiting his grandmother's farm. He looked up at me. "Mommy, do I have grandparents?" "Some people are family by blood," I said carefully. "And some people are family by choice. We have a lot of the second kind." "Is Auntie Bev family by choice?" "Yes, baby." "And Uncle Alan?" "Him too." He nodded. "I like our family." I pulled him close. "Me too." 4 years and 7 months. Then in October 2025, my mother sent an email. Subject line, "We need to talk." I stared at it for 2 days. When I opened it, I read it 3 times. "Megan, Brad is going through a very hard time. Your father's health isn't good, he had a stent put in August. I'm exhausted. We need you to come home. Family takes care of family. Mom." The first sentence was about Brad. Not "how are you?" Not "we're sorry." Not "we miss you." Brad. I did some digging. Brad's wife Stephanie had posted about starting over. Divorce. He had an affair, lost his job, moved back into my parents' house, was fighting for partial custody of his 2 kids. Golden boy had fallen. And suddenly my family remembered they had another child. Over 3 weeks, 14 missed calls, 9 texts, 4 emails. Not one apology in any of them. Finn was mentioned exactly once. My mother wrote, "I'm sure Finn would love to meet his grandparents." As if she hadn't had 4 years to meet him. I talked to Dr. Harlow. "What do you want from this meeting?" she asked. "Closure. To say what I never got to say. And to close the door properly, not slam it, not leave it cracked. Close it." I called Kristen. "I'm going to meet them." "What are you going to bring?" "Everything." I printed screenshots, call logs, emails, the resort text with the sun emoji, the guest book photo, the meal train spreadsheet, 47 families, not one Clark. All of it in a manila folder. Ruby's Coffee Shop, Broad Ripple. Saturday, November 15th, 2025. 10 a.m. Before I left, I looked at the folder on the counter and heard Colin's voice from 5 years ago. "One day you'll need them to show up too. And we'll see." I whispered back, "I saw, Colin. I saw." They were already there when I arrived. My mother by the window, cream sweater, gold earrings. My father beside her, older, more tired. Brad across from them, thinner, dark circles, looked like someone who hadn't slept in months. My mother stood. "Megan, you look good." "Thank you." I didn't hug her. "Let's sit." She started. "We've been trying to reach you for years. You shut us out. We didn't know what we did wrong." My father, "We're getting old. Is this how you want things to end?" "Brad, I know I wasn't always there, but I'm here now. Doesn't that count?" They'd had 4 years to build their version. The one where I was the difficult one. The dramatic one. Now it was my turn. "You're right," I said calmly. "You didn't know what you did wrong. So let me show you." I pulled out the folder. "What is that?" my mother asked. "Proof." I laid it out piece by piece. The text from those 18 months, 91 requests, 3 thank yous. The email cutting my hours. The math, $1,400 a month for 18 months. Brad's 3 visits. Colin driving her to PT 9 times without a single complaint. Then the next page. March 15th, 2021. 2:07 a.m. Colin is dead. I'm in labor. I'm alone. I need you. I placed it on the table. Your reply, Punta Cana can't wait. My mother looked at the paper, then looked away. 3 days later. Next screenshot. The resort is absolutely gorgeous. Sun emoji. While I was in the NICU watching my son fight to breathe in the same clothes I'd worn the day before. Guest book photo. 89 signatures. Not one Clark. Meal train spreadsheet. 47 families. Not one Clark. Brad said, "We didn't know you needed. You didn't come, I cut him off. You didn't call." My father, quietly, that was a long time ago. Trauma doesn't have an expiration date. My mother tried. We're family. Family forgives. Family shows up. You taught me exactly who your emergencies are for. She flinched. Brad leaned forward. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm saying it now. Doesn't that count? Sorry is a start. But it doesn't erase what you chose. A flight over your sister in labor. A vacation over your brother-in-law's funeral. Every time, Brad's comfort over my survival. She started crying. Silent tears. I didn't comfort her. I had spent my whole life doing exactly that. And when I needed her most, she chose Punta Cana. I stood up. I spent 18 months giving this family the best of what I had. Sleeping on your couch. Cutting my hours. Missing my exam. Showing up every single day. I slid the papers back into the folder. You spent it. All of it. Now that Brad's falling apart and Dad's heart is giving out and Mom's exhausted, now you remember you have another child. Now you want me to fix everything. I tucked the folder under my arm. I don't have anything left for people who only remember me when they need something. I already gave this family the best of my care. You spent it. And I walked out. Nobody followed me. I sat in my car 5 minutes before I started the engine. Hands shaking, not from anger. From release. Like something heavy had finally been set down. I texted Kristen, it's done. How do you feel? Free. 2 weeks later, a handwritten letter. 3 pages. My mother. Full of I'm sorry you feel that way, but, and we didn't mean to hurt you, but. No real ownership. Just reasons. Last line, I hope you'll reconsider. Brad really needs you. Still Brad. Even in her apology. I folded it, put it in a drawer, and didn't respond. That Christmas, Finn and I stayed home. But we weren't alone. Auntie Bev came with her famous pecan pie. Uncle Alan brought wine and a fire truck toy with real siren sounds. Sylvia brought a peach cobbler. Kristen showed up with matching pajamas for all of us. We ate too much. Laughed loud. Told Colin stories, the good ones, the ones that made Finn's eyes go wide. At one point Finn tugged my sleeve. Mommy, will we see Grandma at Christmas? I knelt down. We're seeing Auntie Bev and Uncle Alan and Sylvia. They're our family. But they're not grandmas and grandpas. Some people are family because they're born that way. Some because they choose to be. The people here tonight, they chose us. And we chose them. He thought about it. I like our family. I pulled him into a hug so tight he squeaked. Me too, baby. Me too. Here's what I know now that I wish I'd known sooner. The moment you become reliable, some people stop seeing your effort and start treating it like a service they're owed. I spent years believing that if I gave enough, showed up enough, sacrificed enough, I'd finally earn my place. I'd matter to the people who were supposed to love me without conditions. That's not how real love works. Real love is mutual. It doesn't require you to empty yourself just to prove you belong. Beverly staying beside me in that delivery room with no reason to, that's love. Chief Fitzgerald at birthday parties year after year because Colin would have wanted it, that's love. Sylvia with brownies on moving day, no strings attached, that's love. Kristen with matching pajamas and loyalty that doesn't need a blood test, that's love. That's family. If you've been the one who always shows up, who drives, who calls, who gives everything and then gets a sun emoji from the beach while sitting in the NICU, I see you. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to build a family that chooses you back. Setting a boundary isn't abandonment. It's the first real act of self-respect after years of being poured out by people who only notice you're gone when they need something. My name is Megan. I'm a physical therapist, a widow, and a mom to the most stubborn, most beautiful 4-year-old you've ever met. I have a family, not the one I was born into, but the one I built. The one that showed up. The one that stayed. And I finally know what family actually means. Thanks for listening, and if this story hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about people who stopped shrinking themselves for others and finally started living for the ones who truly showed up. The people who deserve you are the ones still standing there after you've had nothing left to give.